Hello! I've been really getting into the mythology side of Smite recently, and I'm enjoying this series so far. So to switch things up from the Chinese pantheon, I want to switch on a lesser represented one in Smite, which is Voodoo, specifically Baron Samedi, since he is the only one in Smite 2. For those who don't know, the Voodoo religion is in two different sections, but they both come from West Africa, so they are not inherently different, and Voodoo religion is not organized like Christianity, for example. But they do have their differences, so to make things more congruent, I'm going to be focusing on Haitian Vodou, since it is widely practiced worldwide, and New Orleans is more localized version of it. Also, I'm pretty sure the one used in Smite 2 is Haitian, so it would make sense. Haitian Voodoo originated during the 18th century as a fusion of West African spiritual traditions and Roman Catholicism. Enslaved people brought from Dahomey, which is modern-day Benin, in the Congo Basin combined their ancestral beliefs with the Catholic practices forced upon them by French colonizers to create a vital. It became an essential tool for resilience and was instrumental in the 1791 rebellion that sparked the Haitian Revolution and abolished slavery. Even after it was abolished, many Catholics and some Haitian leaders viewed voodoo as a threat to their religion, so many campaigns were led to try and eradicate it. This led to centuries of heartache and persecution of people who practiced the religion by any country because of the fear of the unknown and the ignorance to try to understand. It took all the way up to the year 2003 for the Haiti government to recognize voodoo as a legitimate religion on the level of Catholicism, as it should be. Followers who practice believe in a supreme creator named Bandai, who is very distant, so prayers are sent to intermediates called Loi, who govern specific aspects of life such as love, war, and agriculture. Voodoo is also very blended with Catholicism, so much so that many practitioners identify as both Catholic and Voodooist, often seeing Catholic saints and voodoo spirits as different expressions of the same divine force. Practices of voodoo involve veve drawings, which are intricate geometric patterns drawn on the floor with cornmeal or flour to invoke specific loi, mixed with specific polyrhythmic drum beats, and dances performed around a center pillar to encourage a loi to temporarily possess a dancer's body. They also present the spirit with food, rum, and occasionally animal sacrifices to ask for guidance, health, or protection, and ceremonies are led by a priest or a priestess who guide the community and maintain spiritual balance. There is a lot more history in the practices, but these are some of the main points to help understand what voodooism is about and where it came from. I do not know anyone who practices, and I don't have real life experiences with this, so everything I know is from books and from what I've read online, so please do not judge me if I missed anything up. This is why I'm keeping it a little more short. I just very much respect the religion as a culture, and I've always loved Baron Samedi, so I just wanted to learn more about it. But anything I missed, or if you want to try to correct me, you can leave it in the comments. Baron Samedi is one of the most powerful and revered Loa, or spirit, in Haitian Voodoo, and is a center pillar of the religion. He is usually depicted with a top hat, black tailcoat, dark glasses, and cotton nostril plugs, as to resemble a corpse dressed for burial in the Haitian style. He is also frequently depicted as a skeleton, but sometimes a man with a painted face that resembles a skull like in Smite, and speaks with a nasally voice. The former dictator of Haiti, Francois Duvalier, known as Papa Doc, modeled his cult of personality on Baron Samedi. He was often seen speaking in a deep nasal tone and wearing dark glasses. Baron Samedi is noted for disruption, obscenity, debauchery, and having a particular fondness for tobacco and rum. Additionally, he is the Loa of resurrection, and in the latter capacity, he is often called upon for healing by those near and approaching death, as it is only Baron that can accept an individual into the realm of the dead. Baron Samedi spends most of his time in the invisible realm of the voodoo spirits. He is notorious for his outrageous behavior, swearing continuously and making filthy jokes to other spirits. Despite his crudeness and vulgarity, the Baron can nevertheless be charming and suave, and he is renowned for his charisma. He loves smoking and drinking and is rarely seen without a cigar in his mouth or a glass of rum in his bony fingers. Baron Samedi can usually be found at the crossroads between the worlds of the dead and the living. When someone dies, he digs their graves, greets the soul after they have been buried, and then leads them to the underworld. He is also the leader of the Gede, Loa with particular links to magic. The lesser spirits are dressed like the Baron and are as rude and crude, but not nearly as charming as their master. They help carry the dead to the underworld, and as well as being the master of dead, Baron Samedi is also the giver of life. He can cure any mortal of any disease or wound if he thinks it's worth his while. His powers are especially great and impressive when it comes to voodoo curses and black magic. Even if somebody has been afflicted by a hex which brings them to the verge of death, they will not die if Baron refuses to dig their grave. So long as the mighty and influential spirit keeps them out of the ground, they are safe. He also ensures all corpses rot in the ground to stop any soul being brought back as a stupid, brainless, and unintelligent zombie. What he demands in return depends on his mood. Sometimes he is content and happy with followers wearing black, white, or purple clothing, using sacred objects. He may simply ask for a small gift of cigars, rum, black coffee, grilled peanuts, or bread. But sometimes the Baron requires a voodoo ceremony to help him cross over into this world. He's also married to a Loba named Maman Brigitte, or Brigitte. There's many ways I've seen it pronounce it, so I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I've mostly seen it pronounced Brigitte though, who is a prominent white Loa in the Afro-Caribbean pantheon. Her origins are heavily tied to the Celtic goddess and the Catholic Saint Bridget. She's believed to be incorporated into voodoo when Irish indentured servants worked alongside African slaves in the Caribbean. Together, they protect cemeteries, guide souls to the underworld, and oversee the cycle of life and memory, with Baron being the one who digs the graves and greets the souls to help them cross to the underworld, and Maman serving as the Loa of life, death, healing, and justice, looking after the graves marked by the Baron's cross and ensures the dead are respected and protected. His role in Smite is basically one for one when it comes to his background, with Titanforge choosing to use a depiction of Baron being a man with a painted face that resembles a skull, and being one who digs graves to guide souls to the underworld who worship him, and Vodou as a whole. Baron Samedi officially debuted during that Divine Uprising storyline, which was around 2018. His introduction coincided with an escalating war between existing Pantheon leaders, notably Bologna and Hades. As the physical world fractured under the strain of a continuous war, Baron Samedi arrived to inject his signature flair into the conflict, treating the battlefield like an afterlife party. He's written as a chaotic neutral trickster who loves smoking cigars, drinking rum, and utilizing crude but charismatic humor. Despite his vulgarity and love for debauchery, he takes his fundamental job of guiding and protecting mortal souls very seriously. Baron Samedi makes a memorable entrance when the Roman goddess Bologna travels to the New Realm. After a confrontation between her and the Slavic god Chernobog, Bologna finds herself in a graveyard and comes across a sword sticking out of the ground, recognizing the area with the dead soldiers laying about. A snake curls up on one of their thin bodies and begins to speak to Bologna, the snake being Baron Samedi. She requests aid from him to help stop the apocalypse from happening around them. He offers a trade to help him with something first, leading her to a fallen soldier screaming Bologna's name. She recognizes him as Antioch, her champion who had fallen in battle, being tortured by his fallen battle and feeling the pain of his killing blow. Bologna lays him to rest by having to remember his days of triumph and what a victorious leader he was, letting the champion rest in the peace of his triumphs. This pleases Baron, telling her he will be at her side when it's needed as long as she relaxes and has a drink with him, telling her, the way you carry on, you'd think it was the end of the world. Yeah, Baron. Kinda is. He later became a central figure in the Cosmic Squad, and often occasionally called the Smite Vendors by the community. I didn't know this, actually. That's stupid. Alongside Oleron and Hera, going on missions to the underworld to rescue imprisoned gods from the grip of figures like Persephone and Hades. Later, the time his help was needed, and he joined the gods to help fight back against Cthulhu, which I've talked about a lot in every video, actually. So if you don't know, then I guess just watch one of those, maybe? After this battle, Baron helps Oleron in becoming the new king of Olympus and begin to plan an attack against Tiamat, since she wants to reshape the world in her own image and hates what the world has turned into, with the gods killing each other and not being able to defend themselves against the Lovecraftian monster. Baron never really fights other gods throughout the comics, rather he brings a unique perspective on life and death and uses this to persuade others to help Oleron control his power on Mount Olympus. Now, if you played mid lane in Smite or maybe solo, then you probably played against Baron, and you know how annoying this guy can be to deal with if the person's cooking. You probably also know how good it feels to hit him with Officer Doofy Special.
I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning a room!
For his passive ability, Hysteria, enemies hit by Baron's abilities gain Hysteria, and once the threshold hits over 30, his abilities inflict amplified debuff, cleanses, or stuns depending on which ability you hit them with. And these skulls laughing at you is annoying, but it's still not worse than those fuck-ass skulls that I hate. Also, anyone on his team, including him, have access to the Baron's Brew item, which is a really good HP and mana potion that recharges every time you go back to the fountain. His first ability, Vivid Gaze, summons 2 skulls that fire beams of voodoo magic, crossing out your target. Enemies hit by both beams take bonus damage, and if over 30 Hysteria, have their physical or magical power and attack speed drastically reduced. His second ability, Cosine Spirits, summons restless spirits to the area that erupt, dealing damage to enemies. Friendly spirits then seek out allies to heal and boost their movement speed. His third ability, Wrap It Up, throws a snake forward that wraps around the first enemy god hit, dealing damage over time and rooting them. If the target is highly hysterical, the snake will lash out to a second nearby enemy. And finally, his ultimate ability, the Hoover Max 9000. Life of the party. Baron hops on top of his coffin and pulls all nearby enemy gods towards it, gaining CC immunity and damage reduction. Enemies pulled too close are stunned, taking damage based on their max health, and have their Hysteria maxed out, basically turning the coffin into a Hoover. This guy can be a nutcase in lane, and it makes him really seem like the savage that he is. In conclusion, overall, Baron is a good representation of him in Smite, and it seems like Titanforge did their research on this guy, so I'll give them a bit of praise, but not too much. It's still Titanforge, but I feel like they did a good job with him. What do y'all think, though? Let me know in the comments. I didn't cover everything about Vodou in this video, so if there's anything you want to tell me, let me know in the comments below. Also, my links are down there too if you have any interest in trying to come hang out with me on Twitch. I'll be there most of the time. I got a schedule up, so I'll be there then, I guess. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, please. Thank you.